Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope that you're having an amazing day. As you know, we're into day 2 of this intermittent fast and weight loss journey that I'm on, and I do appreciate you tuning in and tuning back in to see exactly what's happening. I do feel the effects of the switch of the 16 to 8, as we had talked about before. So I'm actually doing a 16-8 method, and of course there are several other different types. You do have another option where you can eat. It's called Eat, Stop, Eat. And then you do have another option of eating regular some days, and then maybe 2 days of the week you actually take a 24-hour fast. But I've actually selected this one because that is actually more sustainable for us going forward for the next 6 months. We're going to concentrate. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the meal plans that I've been using in the past to actually gain results. I've actually did this intermittent fasting 2 years ago, and I got really good results, and I learned. So actually this journey that we're going to be doing over the next 6 months, I'm going to be taking the results that I got pretty much from doing different meal plans and then applying it to what we're doing. So there's going to be like a cumulative sort of from success from the previous experiments I did. So this is actually a good journey going into 2021 because we kind of know what works, and the journey that we're taking is my personal experiment, and we're going to keep refining it with meal plans and different types of intermittent fasting as we go along. But basically for the first week or two, I'm going to be doing a 16-8 plan. And as we mentioned in a previous video, 16-8 means that I'm actually doing, I'm only eating from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's only in this window. So I'm actually fasting before this and fasting after. And this actually works out pretty well because if I have my first meal at about 1 p.m. and then my second meal at about 7 p.m., this gives me the window of time I need to start shifting my metabolism slowly down into my sleep cycle. And my goal is to actually get 8 hours of sleep. So I'll actually wake up pretty refreshed and then only have to wait maybe 3 hours before I can have my next meal. So if I wake up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. and then I'll only have a lot of people who use the 16-8 method have difficulty in the morning, and the way to overcome that is to have a glass of water or a cup of water immediately when you wake up. Then you can have some tea, but then you're going to be continuously hydrating yourself. Eventually that will help some of the hunger pains to subside. But keep in mind, after the first week or so, this is what happened to me with the previous intermittent fast. After the first week, your body starts to adapt to the fact that you're not eating as much. You're actually taking in fewer calories, but then you're also taking in more nutrient-dense food and more nutritious food, and it's actually taking advantage of the resources that you already have. But it's actually taking advantage of the fact also that you're going to be sleeping. You're going to be sleeping more, in a sense that you're going to be focused on getting a solid 8 hours, and then you'll be staying in that mode of burning stored fat. And that's what's actually going to get you through this. You always want to be in an advanced stored fat burning zone as much as possible. And that can only be done in my opinion, and based on my own journey before this and now, is to eat in that window. So we're actually going to be focusing less on what we're eating. We're still going to be eating really nutritious food and that's healthy. We're going to be focusing on fruits and vegetables, egg whites, variation of different types of meals using egg white and protein and lean meat. And it's going to be, as we get more and more into this journey, I'm hoping to share with you some of the meal plans that I've developed. You can also check out my channel for my Jamaican curry fish, which is a great meal, very, very high in protein. It's loaded with curry and loaded with a lot of different spices and antioxidants. And when I have that dish, I actually feel incredible. I actually feel incredible for 3 days because it's so loaded with antioxidants and different spices which are really good for your body. So I'll actually leave a link in the description for that video, so you can actually enjoy that video if you're new to this channel. But in this case, I'm going to actually share with you right now the first meal plan of this sequence going in to our 6-month journey. And as we go along, I will share different tips that I've picked up from my journey before with intermittent fasting. This is actually my first 6-month journey. I've actually done 2 months in previously, and then of course you return to your old habits. But there is a detoxifying and there is a cleansing that you do feel after about a month, as your body's first 30 days, as your body starts to adapt to your specific intermittent fasting method. And based on my journey with intermittent fasting, the 16-8 method is for me the most sustainable option, I think. So as far as my daily weighing, I'm making progress, and right now I'm coming in at 235.4. And if you remember, we started this journey, I think, at 239.4. I can't imagine that I probably lost 4 pounds in 3 days. Probably a lot of water weight, but I am being detoxed out and being cleansed out, and I'm hoping that I'll continue on this track without hitting any kind of plateaus. But this is a 6-month journey. This is a life modification. Hopefully, once we hit 6 months, then I'll continue to adapt. I'll continue to adapt and see exactly what we're doing. I'm going to integrate some light exercise that I've learned along the way also. So we're going to be investing not only in the science of intermittent fasting as it applies to my journey. And remember, this is my journey. And of course, there's always a general disclaimer. Please, if it's something that you would like to try for yourself, you need to check with your own physician or licensed dietitian to see if it's going to be right for you based on your own personal medical history, as I have. So I always present this general disclaimer to you so that going forward you know what's involved. So our phrase for today is the day is your adventure. So today is your adventure, and it is also my adventure. This is my journey that I'm sharing with you with intermittent fasting and weight loss. And our goal is to produce good results using my body as the journey, as the experiment. And I'll share with you exactly what's going to be happening with me as we go through this intermittent fasting. So far, for the first couple of mornings, I struggled from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, which I anticipated because my body's starting to adapt again to this lifestyle as far as only eating within a specific window. But my goal is to stay in this zone as much as possible, which means getting good 8 hours of sleep and then possibly having my first meal at 1 p.m. and then second meal at 7 p.m. and make sure that it can actually shift me through the night, which should work, and actually try and stay in a mode of calorie deficit. So here is our meal plan, and I hope that you enjoy these videos as I post them. They're going to be daily, and you can follow along. If you missed any of the previous videos, you can also follow along on the website at wadesweight.com. And there I have my journal entry, so you can actually see exactly what's happening if you missed any of the previous videos, and you can watch the videos. But this is going to be an ongoing path journey, and I want to share this journey with you, and maybe you can pick up some tips that may help you to lose a few pounds along the way, and hopefully find success in your life with what I have learned from my own experiments with intermittent fasting and different weight loss strategies. So without further ado, here's my meal plan for my egg white burritos, which are really delicious. And I use a carb chopper tortilla, which is only 4 grams net of carbs each. So thank you very much, and here is that information video for our recipe on egg white burritos, which I love as my 7 p.m. meal, because the egg whites help me to get through the night. They actually help me to sleep a really good 8 hours, because the egg whites are actually full of tryptophan, and also helps me to switch into a mode where I'm actually producing a little bit more melatonin, which will help me to get a good night's sleep. So here's our recipe for our egg white burritos. I just wanted to share one of my favorite meals when I'm doing intermittent fasting. With this recipe, we're going to use 4 eggs, 1 small tomato, and half of a jalapeno pepper. I'm a big fan of the Carb Chopper Tortilla brand. You can get it at most stores, Albertsons, your Kroger store, Publix. The nice thing about the Carb Chopper is that you get it's only about 4 net carbs per tortilla, and it's pretty high in fiber and pretty low calories per tortilla, so you don't have to worry about any kind of sugar overload from using them. So in this recipe, meal prep, we're actually just going to use 2 tortillas, which is just under close to about 200 calories. But the net carbs per tortilla is about 4 net carbs. And it's 3 dietary grams of fiber, so it's pretty high in fiber. So as we take a look at this, we're actually just putting together, we're using a 3-to-1 ratio as far as the egg white to yolk. So we actually use egg white from 3 eggs, and then for the 4th egg we actually used a full egg. And so you actually are going to be getting a great high protein meal with low carbs. It's very filling. The egg white is going to give you a good protein for staying a little bit satisfied until you get into trying to get you to the cutoff time, which is 12 noon tomorrow. So I usually have this meal at about 6 p.m. in the afternoon. And because there's a fed state of about 3 hours, and that's when you're actually trying to digest your food, then you have another 2 hours of the absorbency state. By the time that you're ready to go to bed, most of your meal is already fully absorbed, so you don't have to worry about any kind of maybe sugar spikes or any kind of uncomfortable feeling with trying to start your sleep cycle. But I like this meal because the egg whites keep me satisfied, and I tend not to have any major hunger pains until my next meal, which is 12 noon tomorrow. I have to keep reminding myself to drink at least 20 ounces of water as soon as I wake up in the morning, and I can drink some green tea or hibiscus tea in the morning also. This diet plan might not be for everyone, so of course there's always a disclaimer. You may be allergic to eggs. You may be allergic to the tortilla. You may have a reaction to the jalapeno peppers. There's a lot of things that you need to check before actually engaging with this meal plan or recipe. But this type of meal preparation is a major component of whenever I'm doing intermittent fasting. The very first 30 days, I try to use this type of meal because it's filling. Also, I take advantage of the fact that my metabolism starts to slow down as the sun goes down, and that's exactly what you want to do. So it might not be for everybody, and it's really for the first 30 days. This meal is very nutritious, low carb, high protein. It's nutrient dense, and that's one of the main reasons why it's just a checklist all the way down for intermittent fasting. I tend to get a really good night's sleep for 8 hours if I have this meal at 6 p.m. Because it's actually in the late stages of the absorptive state. Just before going to bed. So I like eggs as my last meal because it's rich in tryptophan, and the egg whites help to produce melatonin for a sleepy feeling. So this is one of the meals that I'll always recommend to people if you're looking for a way to really start losing some weight with intermittent fasting. So I hope this helps.